You mentioned just quickly Adam Idah, and I wanted to get your take on it, Chris, as a former Celtic number 9. I don't even know how to phrase this. Do you think he'll still develop into the striker that Celtic hope he'll be?
Well, that's very hard to judge. I think he's got some good attributes, but I think that you only have to look at Brendan last season selling Kyogo, and we all thought, oh well, this is his chance, Idah's chance, and then Days of Maida getting the nod, as a central striker ahead of him. That sort of tells you everything you need to know as much as anything. So I don't think that you probably headline this or whatever because that's what you do. But it doesn't mean that Brendan doesn't rate him. He is a development player, and that's Brendan's strong suit as a coach. Aye. And of course, there's time. And yesterday with the game, there are some. He can be frustrating. You can't get away from that. And so then that's where you need the strength and depth, and that maybe that different sort of striker, or certainly. Kyogo offered that. Days and Maida's slightly different. He did brilliant when he was centre forward, but I do think Kyogo was different. And then do Celtic have that quality on the bench? I'm not so sure they do, but I think Adam Idah still got 20 goals last season.
Yeah, that's fair. And big goal, like Scottish Cup final winner, Champions League. So
it's just could they everybody else is could they get better? Should they have better? And that's I think that's a fair debate, and I think Adam has to prove it. And yesterday I think the one which he smashed against the post late on, that's an opportunity he should have absolutely buried. And then there's it can be frustrating at times, but he does some good things as well. But no, these plenty of room to develop, just as Arne Engels has as well.
And £9 million when he's going to play, Adam Idah. Yeah, more often than not.
Well, but you say that he's going to play at £9 million. He didn't last season.
Good point.
It's Chris. When Kyogo left, the opportunity was there for Adam Idah. He had a big hand in the goal against Young Boys that got Celtic through. I think the first, that night, and then he goes to Villa Park and scores 2 goals. And you're thinking, right, okay, it's take-off time, and it didn't happen. Now, yes, he got 20 goals. You can't argue with that, and. That not a million starts in there to get those 20 goals. But the chances Celtic were creating last season. He's entitled to score 20 goals. I think it was your old partner, John Hartson, who said, you don't score 20 goals, you play for Rangers or Celtic as a striker. You shouldn't be there. So, whether you want to say that's harsh or Big John setting a high mark, I don't know. But you would look at the chances Celtic were making last season and he should be scoring 20 goals. And he should have scored more, to be perfectly honest with you. If you look at the chances. And it's not so much the one he takes down in his chest against St Mirren and hits the post where everybody's going to go, that's one. It's more, I think Days and Maida had one in the first half which he squared across the box and it's just waiting for, and he's on his heels. And they're the type of finish where Kogel's just walking and knocking them in the net. But Celtic have been so used to having that, and also you had Kuhn coming in at the back post and finishing it. Yang wasn't there. Ange Postecoglou's team, they were fantastic at that. It was Jota and Abada to start with. One across the face of the box, the other one. Then it became Days and Maida was doing it. That's not there.
He 20 goals last season. He's the player in terms of his finishing who hasn't changed much from when he was at Norwich. And the point, the commentary yesterday, Craig made about him being on his heels in the first half. He's sort of always been like that. He does score goals. The one in the second half, in a moment like that, though, he's got to. Yes, when he takes it down, not smashing it off the post. I mean, he goes back across me. In a big game like that, he's got to score, and that's why there's that's why there are the sort of there's the doubt amongst not just the Celtic support, but probably the manager in that respect. So you always have to try and get better in. But I do think he has a lot to offer for Celtic, and I certainly wouldn't be dismissive of him. I think it's a big season for him, and we often mentioned sort of Brendan's skill set is developing players, and he's one where I think everybody will be looking, as with a lot of players, and seeing if they're going to make that next step up.
As you say, Chris, you make the point. Sorry, Dan, if you're on here, but Brendan Rodgers has made it clear he wants another striker, and he wants to. If a big money striker comes in, you'd imagine he's going to be first choice. And you're wondering if Dyson made a second choice again. And then where does Adamita fit in?
No, but I think the volume of games, which coming around, the squad are short, and it's competition is something as a striker you can't fit. You just you get the opportunities. You have to prove yourself. Yeah. I mean, I didn't.
You faced it and slid back to midfield and then went to centre
half. I never ever minded that. So I minded moving back to midfield and said I would have preferred to play up front. But when it's a good sign for the particular club you're at if you're bringing in quality players and you have a fight on your hands for positions and you have strength in depth and pecking orders. And I understood sort of where I was at. I was just fortunate that I could play. Other roles. But Celtic need. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, Brendan talking about gaps. Need to fill gaps and what have you. It's glaring how important it is to get more quality